Welcome back, Syndicate members. It is I, Joshua Mammoth, back once again with another independent comic book review. And tonight with me again is the mistress of the Mammothverse, Rachel. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful as always. And tonight we have another pickup from Daytona Comic.
The Daytona Beach Comic Con, yep.
Yes, so this is another Silverline. So a shout out to Roland out there. We picked this one up from the writer, Brent Larson.
Yes, we did an interview with him, and we'll definitely link that down below.
So he gave us the rundown on his story, and it was so intriguing that we picked up every issue.
We did. We had to just find out.
And he has them in multiple covers, too.
Yeah, it was so hard to pick.
Ready to get into this biscuit?
Oh, let's get into it.
All right. Trevor, go ahead and put the cover up. So right away, we don't really know what we're getting into. Now, I would say by looking at the cover, I'm thinking like sci-fi.
Oh, definitely, because you already see almost like a crash scene. It's a welcome to Earth, so, I mean, why else would you have a welcome to Earth if it's not, some kind of
Definitely. And of course, I got Brent's signature on the front there.
Always got to get that.
So the starting page here is very interesting because it's sort of like a scene before the title scene.
Yes, that's true. And it kind of threw me off a little bit because then when you turn the page, you're like, wait.
Right.
Yeah.
So we have two guys in there at a baseball stadium in Anaheim. Anaheim, right?
Anaheim, California.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
And so they're sitting there and they're talking about some pretty interesting things here, unrelated to baseball.
Yes, they have a devious plan that I think they're trying to hash out.
So it seems like there's explosives planted in the stadium.
Or at least they want to.
Or they want to.
Yeah.
They're considering this plan. And it's important to also remember this scene at the end of the comic, too.
This is very true.
Okay.
Remember this.
So what ends up happening here at the end of this scene is one of the players hits a home run, or what assume is a home run, and you see like something in space coming, like something coming down.
A little shooting star or
yeah,
something.
A little shooting star. And then when you turn the page, you get the jaw dropper here.
Yes. Amazing page. It's almost like a lunar module.
Yes, it's a lunar module. You guys can actually see it here. Of course, Trevor's going to put it up for you to see there. But I love this page so much that that's why I made it the background here. So we have like a lunar module minus Tom Hanks, and it's plummeting to Earth and disintegrating in the atmosphere.
Well, it kind of looks like it already had a little explosion, so maybe that's what caused it.
Oh, good call. Yeah.
But yeah, so then you see all this debris going. Well, at least you think it's all debris.
Well, one of the pieces of debris is an astronaut, and he's burning up in re-entry, but he's not dying from it. He's just being declothed.
It's a good way to put it.
And he ends up crash landing in the desert.
He does. And then the next scene, it's almost like he's going into some kind of convenience store, gas station, I guess.
And he's dressed in some really tight jeans.
Well, I don't think they're his jeans. Because they don't even button.
Well, first off, have you been to a convenience store at night?
This is true. It's a scary place sometimes.
Yeah. So he walks in, and you see a couple of guys in there, which appear to be customers, and then the clerk there. He's kind of acting weird, out of sorts a little bit, maybe crazy. And it causes one of the customers to pull a firearm on him.
Yeah, and what a scary situation while you're in a convenience store.
I wanted to point out, too, that I really did enjoy the lighting inside the convenience store here. Like the way that the fluorescent lighting was on the characters.
It really gave it a different image than the rest of the pages.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. So what ends up happening, though, is during the, shall we say...
Hold
up, yeah. Our astronaut ends up disarming this guy rather quickly.
A little too quickly. I don't even know what the guy was doing. He almost did it like in an instant, seemed like.
And he did it right after being shot twice in the chest.
Yes, that was impressive. So it made the other guy in the store think, "Oh my god, you're trying to hold us up with blanks? Like, are you kidding me?"
Yeah, he was pissed. He was like, "Hey man, what the heck? You're holding this up. You didn't have real bullets in it."
I know. How rude is that?
And so, well, to get him back, the astronaut not only takes his gun, but his wallet,
Yes.
and then throat slams him.
Yeah. And then decides, you know what? I'm gonna take your truck too.
Yeah, he got in the truck. Now, I wanted to point out one thing too is that this comic had two things that I really like. First off, is it had a lot of dialogue in it.
Yes.
And not unnecessary dialogue. It all builds up throughout the comic, and I love that the art also had imagery in it that you really had to, I wouldn't necessarily say look for, but if you're just kind of reading through it, you might miss.
No, because there's a lot of good details in the background.
Right, and so this is one of those details. When he gets into the truck, you can see holes from the bullets.
Yes, and you're like, wait a minute, I don't think those were blanks, because there was almost like a little bit of redness around it, so it's like maybe it kind of scratched him, but I don't think blanks do that.
And he wasn't, like, I wouldn't even say injured by it.
Oh, not at all. He was like, oh,
just
wow.
the shirt.
Yeah, and then he was even surprised that this whole thing worked. He's like, oh, I'm surprised that worked. And I'm like, well, that's the way to get a truck.
So when he gets in the truck, he gets the heck out of there pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah. He's got a mission he's on.
Yeah,
he's got to get west.
And we don't know why yet.
No, but he's definitely got to get west. I think he's headed to California, he said.
And so this scene in here is another thing that I really liked about the coloring here. So he ends up having like a memory while he's on the road in the truck.
Yeah, but it's almost like I'm assuming a flashback, because the people look kind of back in time, like the clothes look a little bit dated.
It's definitely, and we're talking like real dated.
Right, like definitely 40s or before.
Right, like we're talking like really old. And so he appears to be standing in I don't know, some type of military recruitment line.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to sign up for the army, and during a time of war, that's something else.
So we were assuming this is probably the Second World War, maybe?
Possibly.
It doesn't exactly say. We know that they are fighting Germany, and that his mom is
Yes,
German.
his mom's German, because at one point she even speaks to him in German. It says along the lines of, like, you're just a boy type of thing, because she does not want him to join because she thinks he's too young.
And I think he mentions that he's 15?
16.
Oh, 16
Mm-hmm.
in this. So, yeah, he's pretty young to be going to war.
Right, and apparently you need a parent, but approval, but it doesn't seem like she wants to give that approval, but...
Well, we assume that he does end up going.
I would assume so.
Now, it goes from this memory into the Marine base.
Yep, he finally gets to, I'm assuming, what his destination was the whole time.
Which was Camp Pendleton.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Now, when he goes in here, and this is the part that's really interesting, is he tells the gate office, the gate guards, some type of password.
Mm-hmm.
And they take him into custody and they bring him in because apparently they looked up this password and it's like, hey, bring this guy in.
Yeah, this is like top of the top secrets. Yeah.
So they bring him in and they take him into a couple of officers for like some type of interrogation.
Right.
And he's telling them, well, first off, he used the password KAYLESS, the name of the comic.
Yeah, which, again, that's awesome. Yeah.
And so they end up interrogating him, and he's telling them that he needs to find a red phone.
Oh, yeah, he's obsessed with this red phone, and they're like, what are you talking
Yeah,
about?
and so they make some references to like the 60s Batman show. But he was like, no, there's an actual red phone.
Like, you need to get the phone.
So they take him to some type of like records office, right?
I guess. It's honestly just a dark room with the...
Well, it's a record office.
Yeah.
There's one record in there,
There's
and a
one
guy
record.
and a guy guarding it.
But literally, it just seems like an old guy watching TV. I'm like, what is happening right now?
He's sort of like that knight from the third Indiana Jones, guarding the Grail. Just some old dude somewhere guarding something.
Hey, someone's got to do it.
Well, so we find out though that the reason he's in there guarding this is something in this file is so top secret and crucial that they don't want to digitize the file and risk it getting out.
Yeah, they don't want any copies. They don't want anything. And that's why this one guy that I'm assuming was back when this happened, because that's why he's so old and he's like firsthand knowledge. So that's very interesting.
It is. And so the guy in there, he takes the file, starts reading through it, and he immediately says, "Hey, I want this guy arrested."
Freaks out completely on everybody. I'm like, uh-oh, the soldier's gone crazy. But
and so this corporal here, though, he's I think he just wanted to shoot somebody.
That's what I mean. He's got some real aggression going
like
on.
There wasn't any reason to actually shoot. He wasn't acting aggressive or anything.
No, but I think what he read in the file really freaked him out.
Maybe, but anyways, he lets loose a couple of shots, and then which does not phase the. Which we find out his name was Colonel Anders.
Yes.
Yeah, Colonel Anders is the astronaut. So he ends up, from what the look of it is, like elbowing this corporal.
Oh yeah, he gives him a real good shot, and he's definitely hurt by it.
And again, no damage from the bullets. So we know that the first gun did, in fact, have real bullets. He was just unfazed by it.
Yes, which that was a shocker.
Yeah, so that was really clever. And I like the way that happened, because you're like, okay, I'm buying into it now. See what's going on. So afterwards, the old dude actually brings out the red phone.
Yeah, finally, this red phone that no one knew about, he brings out and he's like, oh, here you go, he's on the phone for you. And the corporal, I think, gets on the phone first and is like, who is this and what's going on?
Well, they don't really tell him anything, and they're like, look, we need to speak to, Colonel Anders. So he reluctantly gives the phone over, and Anders has this conversation with someone on the other line, and he's not liking the information that he's being told.
Not at all.
And so he ends up hanging up, telling them it's the Department of Defense, and whatever this KAYLESS project is, they're trying to just basically sweep it under the rug.
Right. They're like, it's been a long time.
Now, it's kind of interesting what happens here, though, because we don't really know what he does specifically after this.
Yes, that's very true.
So once he figures out, I'm kind of on my own on this one, it goes to the final page. And so you remember when I was telling you at the beginning to remember the baseball scene?
Yes.
So when you actually see the baseball game happening on what looks like a TV screen in someone's office, and they're going through a file, and the file has an explosion, but it looked like it could have been from the Lunar module.
See, that's what I thought too. It looked very similar to that.
Yeah, so it's not specific as to what it is, but I thought it might be the Lunar module on this one. So they're like, we've been waiting on this one.
Yeah, a lot of alludes from the first page to the last page. It was very cool, and everything in between.
Yes, and I actually dove right into the second one afterwards because I needed to figure out what was going on.
Well, I didn't yet because I didn't want to spoil anything by an accident with this review, so I'll be diving in right after this.
But I will tell you that it gets even more interesting, and the build-up in this one is really good.
Oh, can't wait.
Yeah, and I like the fact that they're all they're all like fairly short, I think, but at the same time, there's a lot in there to consume.
Oh, I agree. I definitely read it once or probably 2 or 3 times, really, because I wanted to just make sure I got all the dialogue, but then really saw all the detail in the background because there was just such amazing backgrounds and everything.
And the lighting in it, this one.
I know so many different effects that they did.
Yeah, this one hit a lot of marks that I was really pleased with. So are you ready to get down to the analysis?
Oh, I'm excited. Let's go.
All right, Syndicate members, we're going to dive in. So I'll start here of what I like. Now, like we mentioned before, there was a lot of imagery in here that if you were just reading through it very casually, you might miss. And one of them was the holes in his t-shirt.
Oh, I agree. It was really cool how they did that.
And I like that you still didn't know for sure. You're like, okay, well, that normally wouldn't happen, but maybe since he was at point blank range.
Like maybe just some of the gunpowder technically that they use.
We got an Alec Baldwin situation. We don't know. we don't know. But in any case, we find out later that he is actually impervious to bullets. Which
we kind of had to assume that because, I mean, he was dropping from the sky like a fallen star. So
well, that's true, yeah.
So
what did you like about this biscuit?
So honestly, the story in general, I really was just a what happens next type of thing, and I just really love those type of things.
It hit a lot of the stuff that I like: government conspiracies, like lunar modules.
Wow.
Military cover-ups and stuff. Yeah, there's a lot going on here.
Well, I don't know if I love all of that stuff. I do love the lunar module fact of it, though, that he was in space this whole time, or at least for some part of time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just really thought the story was really engaging, and again, I just cannot wait to read the second one.
So I put on here that I liked Colonel Anderson's Arizona shirt that he stole from the gas station. Well, actually, I don't know if he stole it. Maybe he paid with some of the money from the guy's wallet.
Well, no, that's what he was wearing when he got in the store, right?
Well, he had on that really tight shirt.
Oh,
and then if you notice, when he's walking back out to the truck, he actually has a bag, and you see the shirt in it.
And he's also got the flip-flops.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah,
so
that's what I mean. I'm like if you just casually read through it, you might miss some of the stuff.
Very true.
Because in the next one, he has that Arizona, it's a dry heat.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's like Florida. It's like a wet heat, though.
I also like the computer screen or TV screens at the end with the baseball stadium.
Oh, I thought that was a really cool detail. Because again, if you weren't really looking, you would have completely missed that.
Actually, that was something that you found.
Right.
Because what we do is I read it. We read it separately, and then we compile some of our notes and stuff, and then we'll sit down and actually talk about it a little bit. Not like in depth like this, but kind of just some different points. I mean, this so we both fully understood the story.
Yes.
And this one, I think we were talking for about 45 minutes afterwards.
Oh, at least, because like I said, I was so thrown off with the first and the last page, and then I realized oh my gosh, it's all connected.
And the little bit of imagery, it really helps out.
It does.
And so you don't see that a lot because the dialogue explains a lot, but the art really explains the most in here because it kind of ties in the whole story together. So
it's very true.
Yeah, you really got to pay attention. What else did you like?
I actually liked the flashbacks. The fact that they were that amber color, it was definitely like a vintage feel.
Yeah,
and I thought that was really
vintage
cool.
feel. He did a great job on making the people look from back in that time.
Oh, with their clothes and just the hairstyles and I don't know, I really felt the
it was
vibe.
It was well done for sure. Okay, what did you really like about this biscuit?
Like we kind of already talked about, but the detail in the art, I thought that was just amazing. And honestly, one of my favorite examples though was when Scott Anders, he was falling from space as the comet. The facial expressions, that was impressive. I don't know what someone would look like falling from space, but I was sold on it. But all the detail that they did, it was really good.
I actually really liked that too, because it reminded me a little bit of my comic, Cowboy Diplomacy, when Amon's coming into the Amaranth planet.
Maybe that's why.
Because he's falling in. Trevor, if you pull that up, he's falling down like a comet, sort of.
That is so true. I love that.
And this actually is a tie-in to the art too, because I love Silverline's art overall.
Oh, I agree. It's definitely got its own kind of vibe and feel, and I've loved every single thing we've seen.
I think we were talking about this the other day. It's sort of like looking at a vintage comic, but on much better print.
Much better print.
So it's not all that newsprint garbage.
No.
It's like
and vibrant colors. And,
So you can tell this is hand drawn here,
and it's very impressive.
Yeah. So I definitely would say that I'm a big fan of Silverline.
Oh, for sure. Like I said, everything we've read has been amazing.
I also put here that the artist Lewis, he provided the pencils on this, was inspired by Jack Kirby. Now, Jack Kirby, he's an old school artist who he collaborated with Stan Lee on a lot of stuff.
Oh, okay, right.
And I find that to
doesn't get the credit he deserves.
And it's pretty cool because Jack Kirby, I actually started with a Jack Kirby book too.
Oh, that's cool.
Because Jack Kirby. So when I was a kid, he had a couple of drawing books like back then. So. I did a lot of. I definitely emulated a lot of Jack Kirby back in the day. So I do appreciate that. So big shout out to Lewis and actually to Jack Kirby too.
Next generation.
So I also put that I really liked how Colonel Anders took down people so quickly.
He was such a badass. Actually, that ties into what I really like. It was just him in general. Mm-hmm. I just thought he was such an awesome character. He was so gritty. You had no idea what was on his mind at any point in time. He's just so mysterious. Like, I really just love that.
And, he has to be pretty smart. Right?
Oh, I agree.
Like, maybe like scientist level, because he is an astronaut.
That's true. Yeah, because it didn't seem like anybody else was in
Or like a really good pilot or something. I mean,
at least a good pilot.
They don't just let anybody be unless you got money, I guess. But otherwise, they don't just let anybody be an astronaut.
I agree.
I put a couple of examples of that. So the guy in the gas station, so he did a takedown with the gun, disarmed them, and then he also like choke slammed them like the Undertaker. And then I also put it was Corporal Exley's. He elbowed him right in the face.
Oh, that was crazy. And the way again he took that gun, like, oh my god.
Yeah. The last thing that I put that I really liked, and this is just kind of out there, but so at the very end, the store is called Swift Mart, which I know it's like the way that they did it is kind of like a knockoff of Walmart, mm-hmm. But it kind of reminded me of S-Mart in Evil Dead. Shop smart, shop S-Mart.
Oh my god, how random is that?
I was like, oh wow, that could be an S-Mart.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
Okay, what did you really love about this?
So honestly, what I loved was that first splash page that we saw with the Lunar module. That was literally my favorite. I just thought that looked amazing.
That's so awesome you said that, because that's my very first one, the re-entry scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we put it up here, because, that was so cool looking.
As soon as I turned that page, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm sold already.
Yeah, like that. That's like the money shot of the whole comic book.
It really
right
was.
There.
I was so, in love with that thing.
And then I also put that I really love the coloring in this.
I agree. Again, the way that they did the different coloring, we saw the store, you saw the fluorescent lights, then you saw the flashbacks where it was like a vintage amber, but then the night scenes were, you could tell it was night. It was just really well done how he did that.
That was Leandro, and I also put the fluorescent lighting in the gas station, because when I saw that, I'm like, man, this is good.
Really good, because it kind of gave that feel like when it's really dark outside, you go into one of those gas stations, and it just seems like everything's glowing almost.
Yeah, it does, and especially like that crummy gas station that's just out there in the middle of nowhere.
In the middle of nowhere,
and you know that's where all the weirdos go at night.
That's most.
I know, because I'm one of them. So I put that. I also loved the back in time pages as well.
Yeah, it really was just so well done and so thought out, I thought.
And because the amber coloring, it's not exactly black and white, but it gives you a feel, sort of. But like like you're looking at something old.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, like a vintage vibe of it all. But again, I just really liked how they did that, and just again really thought out how they were going to do a flashback of it all.
What else did you love?
I kind of love the fact that Scott stole that guy's truck.
He completely did a Terminator on this guy.
He's like, look, I'm taking your wallet, taking your truck. I'm like, what a badass. That was
I was waiting for him to go, I need your clothing, your boots.
I know, I'm like, are you going to take his pants now?
And your truck.
It was so funny. When he stole his truck, I was like, I can get on board with this guy.
I put that I really love the dialogue in this.
Oh, I agree. again, there was so much detail. Even in the beginning of it, there was dialogue of almost like a radio transmission that was coming through.
Right.
And again, what small details, but you could really see because that's what was coming in as he's like coming down from space.
And with so much dialogue, sometimes you'd think it would be confusing, but the way it was spaced out, it was so well done. The lettering, the dialogue, this one was...
And just the flow of it, it was just, again, very easy to follow and just really engaging to follow.
Mm-hmm.
I
agree. I put that there's a lot to read, and so the first time I read it, I went back to reread it, but mostly to actually examine the pages.
I agree.
Because I kind of already knew the gist of the story at that point, so I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything in the artwork. And really glad I did that because there's a lot in there.
So much. And I think I could probably read it again and probably find stuff I missed again. Because I read it the first time and then we did a discussion and then I read it 2 more times after that just to make sure, like, oh, I see his name on this part.
Yeah, it's definitely really good. And so that's why I would encourage you not only just to get this issue for the setup, but you got to get all the issues.
Oh, if you don't, you'll be so mad at yourself because I'm telling you, as soon as this camera's off, I'm going to read that second one.
I really love the red phone.
That was so funny to me. And the fact that they referenced Batman, that was so funnier.
Yeah, because I'm a big 60s Batman's fan.
Well, I know. It's like almost in every stereotypical, that kind of movie. It's like, get the red phone. And, I love the fact that they actually brought that out. I thought that was great.
I also want to point out that I really like I love the little comment that Brent put at the beginning. Because it was kind of like, stuff that he liked and what kind of inspired him.
Oh, I love when artists do that. I think that's so cool.
Yeah, because you know what? I actually really like those G.I. Joes too, the comics. Well, I had a plethora of Joe. Yeah. But I really did, I was into those comics, but specifically the ones that had like the character breakdowns, had like Snake Eyes and like all the stats for him and stuff.
So it's so cool.
Yeah, I could see why he it was into that. 'Cause that was one of my big ones too.
And I love that. What a really cool way to get into comics.
Mm-hmm. And at the end of the book, they have the creators' bios.
Yes.
And I really like that. I don't know why I don't do that.
I don't know why you don't do that either.
But all of them seem very talented.
Oh, so talented, and well, just based on the book alone, we can tell that they're super talented. And honestly, just all of their work together, it just flowed really well.
Yes, definitely. And so, all of Silverline's products, or actually all their contact information, is down below. So make sure you check them out, and make sure you tell them that Joshua Mammoth sent you. And I want to thank Brent for allowing me to review his work. What did you think of the overall feel of this book?
Honestly, I just thought it was a really good story. It was fast paced, but in the same sense, you really had to, kind of check everything out because you could really miss everything, which I kind of love the detail in that. And I just thought it was such a good way to build to a series. Because like I said, I just cannot wait to read the next
I love the fact that it is a mini-series. Because it's almost like it should be like a serial type of show.
Oh, I agree. Because it's really building it up. And like I said, the way that they built up Scott, I just loved the feel of it. And how you saw kind of his background. And then you're seeing like nowadays how he's trying to cope with the new world of it all.
Yeah, and that's why he's such a badass. Because he's from like 1940 or so.
He's from the shit.
Yeah, so he knows what's up.
He does.
Do you have anything else you wanted to add?
Nope, I think that was it for today. I just really enjoyed it and can't wait to read this second one.
Well, I wanted to thank Brent again for letting us review his work. And we're going to be hitting up, I believe, Collectors World Con. Mm-hmm. Of course, we'll already be back by the time this airs.
That's true.
But we're definitely looking forward to that. That's going to be in Central Florida here. So we try to hit as many as we can in the Central Florida area throughout the year and support as many independents as we can.
Oh, yes, because there is a lot of them. You just got to get out there and find them.
Yeah, and they're so talented.
so talented, and they're
so many different diverse types of stories.
Well, I think that's been my favorite thing of us doing the channel is just getting to see all the different types of art, even the black and white, even color.
I've been loving those.
Like, they're all such a contrast, but they're so good and all for different reasons. And I've had so much fun with this.
And all the art is very different from book to book, depending on the artist.
I agree. And even whatever the feel of the book, like when we did Bear, for instance, it was more like a cartoon style, but then this is like a more gritty style. And I just love the different contrast of books and comics that we've seen. I think that's really cool.
And we have a few more Silverlines too.
Oh, yes.
We also have some more Cosmic Times.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think we have I want to say Pet Piranha.
Yes. That's probably going to be the next one.
Yeah. So we're actually getting through our huge stack. So I'm hoping we can pick up a couple more tomorrow. Well, I know for sure we're picking up Ninja Nico number 2.
We have to pick up that one.
Shout out to Nico. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, of course, by the time you see this, we'd have already seen me. So comment. All right, Syndicate members, that's all we have for you this evening. Between the known and the unknown lies the man. I'll see you next time.